let's start off by rolling for a 5 to get out of the bad stuff. And it is Goblin Eyes. We have failed. We have been killed by goblins, and that's the big thing about this version of Munchkin. Munchkin Pathfinder is full of goblins, and there's lots of other cool stuff about it too, which I want to go over. So, but let's go over the goblins first. Like, how many goblins are there? Well, we have mob goblins, hobgoblin, shop goblin, goblin dog, hemoglobin, it's a vampire, get it? Yeah, we got a goblin snake, just a normal level 1 goblin, and I can't read that, slob goblin, yeah. 2 goblins, and it's a level 2, makes a lot of sense, and there you go. A ton of goblins in this pack. That's pretty awesome. But what really makes this Munchkin really good is just how many different kinds of factions there are, and like their abilities, and it just becomes a more strategic Munchkin. So, like, we saw all the goblin monsters, but there's more than just that out there. There's way more monsters for you to have. One of the things that's kind of annoying is that the humor of Munchkin isn't really here, except for the goblins. There's a lot of names in this pack that basically I can't pronounce, and it's pretty annoying. So, unfortunately, it is what it is, right? But other than that, it is a pretty fun expansion into Munchkin. And I gotta say, I really enjoy it for its strategy. There's a lot of strategy involved. And here, let's start off with the Pathfinder, which is what this expansion or standalone is based off of. It's based off of the Pathfinder. So the Pathfinder's ability is to, he's able to kick open the door, look at the top 2 door cards in the deck, discard one, and put the other one back on top of the deck, then kick open the door as normal. So basically, this guy is an OG. The Pathfinder can pretty much just look at the top 2 cards and say, which one do I want to get? You know, do I want to get the shop goblin, or do I want the level 2 goblins? You know, he can pick whatever he wants. And that's so much good strategy for whatever you want to do, because, well, you know, if you have this guy, if you have this Pathfinder, like, you pretty much control the game. You control how you want to play the game. You get good stuff, and you can avoid monsters or fight monsters. You have so much goodness as the Pathfinder. That's what makes everyone want to be the Pathfinder. And one of the annoying things in this version is that there isn't a lot of FU moments. Like, this game, as my friend Hector says, should be called FU. You know, like, everyone's backstabbing each other. And one of the annoying things about Pathfinder is there really isn't a ton of those moments. There aren't, like, really awesome cheats like in the original that basically say, hey, F you. I hate you. You know, there isn't too much of that. It's more in faction abilities that you're able to do that. So let's get into some of the other factions and classes. All right, so here we got a Hell Knight, and Hell Knights are freaking awesome because you get a +5 bonus because a Hell Knight comes with armor. That counts as your armor and your headgear, but it's a good bonus. This armor may not be taken away from you as long as you are a Hell Knight, so you're immune to curses and stuff. You may not wear other armor or headgear, even if the other card says you can without a cheat. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but you get a pretty good bonus. Obviously there's like weapons and stuff that a Hell Knight can use. Pretty good when you're, you know, starting off the game. You want to kind of be a Hell Knight. We got an Eagle Knight. In combat, you may discard up to 3 cards from your hand. Each one gives you a +2 combat bonus, but a -1 to run away. So, you know, it's a little... this is a little bit of like a nice, helpful class, but not as OG as the Pathfinder, and not as crazy as the Hell Knight, but you can get some nice bonuses with the Eagle Knight. Red Mantis Assassin, stealth, +1 to run away. That's awesome. That's a good thing you want to have. Murder for Hire. When you look for trouble, you may discard up to 3 cards from your hand. Each discard gives you a +2 in combat. So, yes, that's helpful as well, but you're going to be sacrificing a lot of cards. I like that +1 to run away, so it's pretty awesome. We have our classes now. We got the Summoner class. During any combat, you may play monsters from your hand as one-shot combat bonuses equal to twice the number of treasures printed on the card. So that's pretty cool. You know, that's another good bonus. I wish it was more like a wandering monster where you could add in the level, but that's just what you're given. You can also do summoning. So once per turn before kicking open the door, you may discard 1 card from your hand to take the top monster from the door discards into your hand. So that's pretty helpful, and I'm going to talk about a strategy you can kind of do with the Summoner that's going to help you basically, you know, create an FU moment in the game for lots of players, you know, maybe when they're about to win or something. So keep in mind the Summoner. Keep in mind doing the summoning and getting a monster. All right, we got Alchemist. Usable once only items you play in combat have double the combat bonus. Great, that's awesome. Lead into gold. When you sell items for a level, you receive a minimum of 300 gold pieces for each before any other modifiers are applied. So this is kind of like your halfling, and it's great for a ton of things. Being an alchemist is pretty helpful. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but basically when you become an alchemist early on, your goal is to just sell a lot of stuff and fight a lot of monsters with your combat bonuses. Or maybe you save the alchemist and you use all those combat bonuses at the end to win. It's up to you how you want to gamble it. All right, we got Witch. Hex. Discard a monster and another card from your hand to inflict the monster's bad stuff, except death. That's unfortunate. We should create our own rule and say, yes, you can also do death, because that just makes it awesome. Why wouldn't you have it? You're a witch. Makes no sense. We should just cross that out and make our own rules. And you can use these as curses on another player. Well, I guess perhaps that's why, but no, you should be able to inflict death. Familiarity. You have a familiar that protects you from curses found when you kick open the door. Put them on the bottom of the door deck. So being a witch, you have some huge benefits. You know, curses do not affect you. That is awesome. Okay. Necromancer. Reanimation. So once per combat, you may discard 3 cards to add the top monster from the discards to a fight and make it undead. Doesn't really matter that it's undead. Barely matters. There's barely any bonus cards for undead monsters. Makes no sense. Secrets of the Dead. Draw a face down door card after combat where you kill an undead monster. Again, I don't understand what's up with all these undead monster things. They're around, but there's not that many. And that's kind of the issue in Pathfinder is, and you'll see this in the expansion, there's a lot of cards that say, you know, here's a bonus for something or something else, and there's just not that many of those bonuses, which it just makes no sense. So actually what I was thinking was there would be something with the Summoner and the Necromancer. Like if you could get these 2 classes together, I could see it being like very beneficial if you get I think, what is it, Super Munchkin or something like that, the card that lets you have 2 classes. I could see these 2 cards dealing a lot of damage and just being a good combo. I could also, I think a lot of these cards, let me push these down so we get full view of all the lovely cards. I just think a lot of these classes are pretty helpful. All right, there we go. Excellent. So just a lot of these cards are pretty good in general. My least favorite are definitely the Eagle Knight and the Red Mantis. But the Red Mantis is pretty helpful. I would say the Eagle Knight is kind of like, but he does have a few weapons that only he can equip. So, the thing I love about this game is you get what you get, and if you get upset, you try to steal it from your friend or something along those lines, or you just work with what you got and you try to just keep using what you're given with your faction or your class, and then just trying to upgrade that class. And I think that's pretty awesome. But if you get Pathfinder at the beginning of the game, that's pretty OG. You get a good bonus with Hell Knight. Obviously, the Witch makes you immune to curses. Alchemist, you can sell lots of things. Necromancer and Summoner, you can really mess people up with. Eagle Knight, you got good bonuses. And that's the thing. Red Mantis, I'm sorry, I was talking about Red Mantis Assassin. Red Mantis Assassin kind of has something similar with the Eagle Knight. It's just that in the Eagle Knight, you can use it with any kind of combat. But with the Red Mantis Assassin, it's only when you decide to play a monster. So let's say you kicked open the door. I don't think technically this is supposed to help with that. So what can you do? Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about Pathfinder. I wanted to show all the classes and factions because I think that's what really is what I like about Pathfinder, the factions and classes, because they make up most of the strategy for the game, and everything else is kind of like filler. Like, unfortunately, things aren't crazy humorous. I mean, I love the idea of the Hobgoblin and Hemoglobin, I love that stuff. Slobgoblin, the one I couldn't pronounce right. I love all that stuff, but it's not as crazy humorous as some of the other things in original Munchkin or even Apocalypse Munchkin. And next time, we're going to be looking at the second expansion of Pathfinder, and I'm going to go over that. But overall, I would give this pack probably 4 out of 5 stars. I own it. It's one of my favorite Munchkins just for that strategy. But is it the first Munchkin that I would want to show someone? No, I don't think so. I think it's pretty fun, but I think that there are other Munchkins where its humor really sells it, and I would probably just start off with the first Munchkin if I really wanted to show like my love and appreciation for the game, because like I said, there's a lot of names in here that are just like, like I don't even want to say them, like Anthracitus or something, like, it just sounds so, I mean, we're all nerds here, but it just sounds super nerdy. I don't know how to pronounce it, and someone new to card games or Munchkin, it's just not fun. I mean, if you're into Pathfinder, maybe this will, that's totally fine. But honestly, I don't know a thing about Pathfinder. I just know that there's some goblins and some dragons in this version, and that's freaking awesome. But it's just not the best humorous introduction. So to wrap it up, I thoroughly believe that this is one of the most awesome Munchkins, but it has its flaws, and I think if you are already into the game, this is a good addition to your collection. You can always mix and match cards too. I mean, you might find balance issues, but this is still good. But if this is your first Munchkin, perhaps not. Perhaps just go with the standard, get a few expansions for the standard. I like Apocalypse Munchkin. I like Munchkin Cthulhu. Those are kind of the only ones I played. I played Star Munchkin too. Pirate Munchkin is pretty cool too. It's, fun pirate themed. Go with the Munchkin that you feel is you know, awesome. Like if you want to be a pirate Munchkin, or I'm sorry, what is it called? Pirate Munchkin Booty or something. I don't know. That might be something else entirely on the internet, fellas. Anywho, this is my wrap up. I don't know how to end this. Thank you so much for following Munchkin forever, and enjoy the rest of your day, evening, and your card games. And I just let's clap, and then this ends. All right.